Latest letter has come in from the centre giving us more details about what exactly we do and don't know about Omicron. Now, given the fast pace of vaccination and the exposure to Delta variant, evidently by high seropositivity, the severity of the Omicron variant compared to Delta is said to be quite low. This is according to the government standards. But remember, scientific evidence on this is quite low. Government continues to talk about that and then also goes on to say more detailed investigation is required on this. The expert panel has also called, meanwhile, in big breaking news, a call for booster doses for people who are 40 and above in the country. Also saying, of course, the takeaway there is the severity of the disease, anticipated disease, yes, remains to be quite low. All right. Meanwhile, amongst the final things that are to be followed, remember, Centre has written into states as well, giving them the do's and don'ts about how things are going to go, considering Omicron in mind. It goes on to say that all contacts of a positive case to be quarantined and tested within 72 hours, and the states must track the list of incoming passengers in advance. Centre also saying that fully vaccinated individuals are likely to be protected from any severe disease and also red flagging clusters of cases. Centre also underlining that any uptick in cases must have quarantining of contacts and isolation of the positive cases as well. It has asked the states to remain very proactive in scaling up oxygen ventilators, beds and medicine supply. Akshay joins us for the very latest here. Akshay, we've been hearing this from the WHO for now and from several other experts. For the first time, India acknowledging that the severity of the Omicron variant is low. That's one news point. The other one is that not to have your guard down and continue to sort of make preparedness and make several things in place, especially to the states, asking them to get up. There could be another spread coming up. Third point really that I wanted to expand upon is how even those who do not necessarily, we know of yet, have Omicron will be asked to isolate and ask their contacts also to be traced.
Well, yes, there are a set of guidelines that have been given by Health Ministry, and this is all being done keeping in view that in countries like South Africa, there might be another wave of COVID-19 because of Omicron. Scientists have found in several studies that Omicron has certain mutation that increases the transmissibility of this particular variant, and that is the cause of concern. Given the explanation and the studies of the South African doctors and the study that even the Indian experts are conducting right now, it appears prima facie that the severity of the disease remains low, and especially in India, when we talk about a third wave because of Omicron variant, it remains quite low. Now, there are two reasons for that. First, according to the government, is the fast pace of vaccination that is going on in the country. And the second one is because the entire country, most part of the country, has had some sort of exposure to the Delta variant of COVID-19, which was considered extremely harmful when it started to spread in the country. Now, if we are talking about the severity that remains low in the cases, the examples we have in India are two. The Health Ministry gave us information yesterday that 2 men have been found to be positive with Omicron variant of COVID-19, and they both got a very mild illness. The symptoms of this particular variant range from severe tiredness, body ache, headache to tenderness in throat, itch in. There is certain problem that.
Okay.
Well, there are certain issues, Sonal, that.
All right, we seem to be having some audio trouble there with Akshay. We'll just fix it up. But while we do that, you've understood the main points over there. Let's take it forward with our guests now. Dr. Naresh Trehan, Chairman and Managing Director, Medanta Medicity, joins us on the program. Also with us is Dr. Vishal Rao, member for the Genomic Surveillance Committee, Karnataka COVID Task Force as well. Dr. Rao, if I can come to you first on just to get a bit of more understanding on what exactly is it that the centre is looking at like I said, two sticking points for us at the moment is the fact that everybody who's positive will have to be now, their contacts will have to be traced, whether or not you have Omicron. We don't have time to wait for the results just yet. And second is the fact that the center acknowledges that the severity of Omicron is low.
So, thank you, Sonal. Coming to the first point, today already with the first two cases that have been picked up, we've really been able to ascertain the diagnosis very quickly. So the turnaround time was nearly less than a week that we were able to pick up these strains from the time of their sample collection, which itself tells us that we've made really good headway with the support of INSACOG on quick genomic sequencing and public health responses parallel to genomic sequencing, which I think was the goal with which INSACOG had actually been set up. Now, with that in mind, there has been rapid assessment of the surveillance team on ground to pick up and see if we can do the tracking, tracing effectively. What we know from Karnataka is one of them was a non-travel.
Right.
Or I would paraphrase and say that he was not having history of international travel, but must have contacted the person locally. So it's very, very paramount at this juncture to be vigilant. If you look at data from Botswana, from South Africa, 1 week before the Omicron, the statistics showed about 280 cases per day. To now, today, it is about 11,500 per day. So the WHO reiterates one fact, that when it went to Delta, it took them a couple of months to call it a variant of concern. They usually call it variant under investigation, variant of interest, and then variant of concern. Suddenly, in 2 weeks, they've called it variant of concern, which itself shows three important features which you should know. Higher transmission, higher virulence, and higher vaccine escape mutations. Now, most of these were based on predictive genomics. But today, what Omicron has proved already is, number one, transmission is higher. November 11th till now, virtually Omicron has replaced Delta. So it has proved point number one. Will it prove point number two and three?
Delta. Could you expand on that?
So if you look at the studies that have come out of South Africa, it clearly shows that Delta was the predominant variant before Omicron came in. And from the statistics, I said 280 cases per day to today 11,500 cases per day. Majority of those seem to be Omicron in Botswana, in South African regions. Now, that itself shows the capability of its transmission rate. So if the D614G first variant that came out in the first wave took 2 weeks, Delta took 1 week, this could take 3 days to enter our bodies. So it is much faster. Now, the second and the third aspect are yet to be proven, which means higher virulence. That means it may produce more amount of hospital admissions. And third, it may escape vaccine. Immunity, now, for these two, the predictive genomic shows that these two are very much possible because the Delta had 16 mutations in the spike protein. This has 32. So it is much more capable. Do you want to dismiss it? I think today, if you read the latest Lancet papers and the papers from Science, they clearly say, please consider these information of mild symptoms as anecdotal. Be cautious because as it reaches a critical tipping point, it may change its behavior.
I see.
So please do not take this lightly.
Second,
with regarding to vaccine escape mutations, we know that the Delta was only 50% effective with the current vaccines. So the nature of this virus is to escape the mutations, and it will try to do so in the coming days. Now, that is where we are currently standing. The point is that I think the war is far from over. The virus is not at rest. The latest paper from Science today says that the only rationale that we could explain that this virus came out of nowhere and does not match any of its predecessors shows that this is the one that has been lurking from 2020. From the first wave, these viruses have been lurking, and they have suddenly transformed. Could be one of the most relevant postulates right now, telling us that the virus is very active. It continues to mutate. So please do not announce any premature victory at this juncture. And December being a very crucial month for celebrations, for social economic activities, Christmas, New Year, we need to be very vigilant.
Right. There's a lot to unpack, Doctor, from what you've just said right now, Dr. Rao, on what we know, what we need to be careful about, and what Lancet is saying as well. Lots of important points over there. So the next question, and let me take that to Dr. Trehan then, is then how do you see these guidelines by the centre? What's stuck in my head is the fact that even those who have not tested positive Do we need to get a little more stringent about watching out for those cases, especially if you've shared a flight, you've shared an airport?
Absolutely. I think Dr. Rao has actually rung the bell quite effectively to say, look, this is no time for complacency. There is no time for wishful thinking. This is the time to hunker down and see that there is another challenge coming down the pike, and how are we going to perceive it properly and deal with it. Okay. So, the big things that come up is, should there be panic? Of course, there should not be panic, because panic means you lose your balance. You don't want to lose your balance at this critical juncture. What it means is that you need to take it very seriously. Exactly what the connotation of virus of concern or variant of concern is given by the WHO. So now there are three layers of all this. One, what the government is doing by way of its regulation. These are measured steps forward, because you're also looking at the rest of the world to see how, as a nation, we should react on restrictions and how much regulation to bring in. The second thing is that personal behavior is the most effective way of trying to control it. And that is the easiest to accomplish. And that is convince the public that, look, it is not harmless, it is dangerous, this mutation, as outlined by the Lancet article also, that don't be sort of gotten into this comfort that it's going to be very mild. We don't know. By the time we know, it will be too late. So the basic thing, put all your resources into educating the public, and even pass regulation that they have to wear a mask in public. That we become very strict. There should be heavy fines, so that that should be mandated anyway. And also limit the gatherings, because like we are entering the holiday season, we should limit the gathering, because we don't want to indulge in something that will be a very heavy price to pay as a nation, where we are already suffering from the second wave. We still haven't recovered from. And you know how many people, their job losses and all that. There is a lot of distress under at a level below us. So the basic thing is, we need to take it seriously. The third most effective thing is, no matter what, whether it has immunity escape from the vaccines, we must vaccinate everybody, and also very actively look to start using the booster, because if you look at the healthcare workers and the frontline workers,
we're going to be the first to take this as well, and a doctor has already tested positive for Omicron in Karnataka as well. So we're looking at all these details. Thank you so much. Very valid points there raised by Dr. Trehan as well. I'm afraid that's all the time we have.